Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, January the 9th, is National Apricot Day, or Apricot Day, depending on how you were raised to say it. National Balloon Ascension Day, National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, National Static Electricity Day, which I think is just awesome, by the way. You ever get shocked with like static?
Yes.
I think it's kind of cool. And National Vision Board Day. It's where you like put all the stuff out that you were kind of hoping for, and then you know make a plan to achieve that. Sunday, January the 10th, National Bittersweet Chocolate Day, National Cut Your Energy Costs Day, National Oyster Rockefeller Day, National Save the Eagles Day. You think they're talking about the birds or the band?
Who knows?
Probably the birds. And National Sunday Supper Day. All of those things happening on this weekend. And I've got a guest joining me as well. My guest is a very funny man and a comedic legend, Mr. Tom Dreesen, and he's got a book that we're going to chat about and all kinds of fun stuff we'll do in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A new study finds that your brain activity and your emotions will change depending on what kind of music you're listening to. Of course, I knew that.
Yeah, I know that.
Because I've actually been driving along and Heidi's like, you know how fast you're going? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's the song. I blame the song. It's all the song's fault. And then there's another survey called the Federal Risk Index. They named Los Angeles as the most dangerous city in the United States. So we were in Los Angeles almost exactly a year ago. It was last February.
Yeah. It was
and there were definitely
terrifying.
parts of that city that we were in that I
Yeah.
felt very not safe. So I can relate to at least some of that. That is surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At BetterCreditCards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. BetterCreditCards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. A Florida man who was not on fire is charged with a felony after he sprayed himself with a fire extinguisher in an attempt to dry himself off, apparently.
How do you think that would work?
I don't know. 54-year-old David Mann was in a parking garage with a fire extinguisher, and he was covered in powder. Police say Mann told them he had been drinking, then he fell asleep, and then he fell in some water when he woke up. And he was trying to dry himself off, apparently with a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
But interfering with firefighter equipment when there's no fire is a third-degree felony.
Oh.
And he was in jail for this for at least about a week. So, not good. It's what happens when your brain is on drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Big fans of The Voice might know these two names, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. Blake is actually facing backlash for a line in one of his new songs that says, Gwen Stefani could make a man feel rich on minimum wage. So there are people that are not happy with that because he makes way more than minimum wage.
Oh, yeah, he does.
So. Alex Trebek's final 5 episodes of Jeopardy aired this week. He passed away nearly 2 months ago, and I know they're right now in the process of trying to figure out who the successor will be.
His shoes.
Several different people you're going to start seeing pop up this coming week, and it'll be a bunch of different people until they figure out for sure who's going to be there.
It's going to be tough to find somebody to replace him.
Yeah, and Prince Harry's biographer slammed Prince Harry for following Meghan Markle's woke ways. So.
Okay.
I got a feeling he won't be Prince Harry's biographer much longer. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now your scoop of the day. It comes your way courtesy of giftcardchallenge.org. The internet is supposed to make our lives easier, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard to argue that it hasn't. However, a new survey of 1,000 American adults suggests that one of the conveniences may be robbing an entire generation of basic home maintenance skills. It says, all in all, about 2 in 5, it's 38% of respondents say they are helpless and they can't fix anything without the help of the internet. Respondents were asked about their ability to fix a variety of different household problems without turning to the internet for help. It says 43% said they know how to unclog a drain without help. 25% said they could install a drywall anchor without any help. 39% said they could stop a running toilet all by themselves with no help from the internet. 38% said they could find a stud in the wall without the help of the internet.
You cannot.
I posted a photo of me. Were there, 15 holes in the wall?
Even when you have a stud finder, we end up with 5 or 6
What
holes.
am I doing wrong?
I don't know.
So anyway, 38% can find a stud without the internet. 31% know how to patch a hole in drywall without help. And 29% said they could replace a washer on a leaky faucet without the help of the internet. I could do most of those things. But here's the cool thing. You don't have to do any of them without the internet because you have it.
Right.
So if you don't know how to do something, I'm not kidding, anything. You can go and punch it in and somebody would...
Well, not anything. You brain
anything.
surgery.
I don't know. I've never looked for brain surgery, but just about anything you can think of, somebody has recorded a video to show you how to do it. So I understand they're making fun of people who use the internet to get help to do things. I'm not making fun of it. I think it's smart.
I've looked stuff up. I'm not... helpless. I can do a lot of things without the internet, but there have been some things where I'm like, well, how do I do that? And then just look it up, and there's usually a video from somebody.
Somebody somewhere thought of a way to, hey, I'm going to show you how to do that. In Romania, a man broke into a restaurant, stole $450 in cash. As he was preparing to leave, he was tempted by something he could not resist, a display of delicious pies.
Yum.
After stuffing himself, the 300-pound crook tried to exit through the same window that he had entered, but guess what?
No, he was too full.
Because of the pies, now he's too big to get out the hole. That's when the owner arrived the next morning and opened the place and found the guy stuck inside. So he must have eaten a lot of pie to not be able to fit through there. And one last story here. Coffee tastes a bit off, and it might be a bit better if you poured into a mug of a different color, according to this. A barista noticed customers complaining about the bitterness of a coffee were almost always drinking out of a white mug. But if they were drinking the same exact coffee out of a clear cup, they didn't complain. This gave him an idea to do a study, and researchers discovered when you were drinking with a clear or white or blue container of the same exact coffee, the taste changed in your brain because of the color of the container. So that's interesting.
I want to say that we've read that.
Have we really?
Yeah.
I don't remember reading that. If we did read that, I must have not been paying attention to myself because I don't remember any of it. I've got a link to that if you want to read the details because I skimmed through it. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you peck out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Our guest today is a comedy legend, Tom Dreesen. He's got a new book out. It's called Still Standing, My Journey from the Streets and Saloons to the Stage and Sinatra. It's available right now, and you have been performing for a long time, but I love the fact that you are still standing.
This is my 51st year in show business. And that's why the book's still standing, because I've been a stand-up comedian all those years. But also, I've been knocked down a lot in my life, physically knocked down as well as rejected in the business, but keep getting back up again. And that's what the book is about. It's really basically a journey. I grew up in a suburb on the south side of Chicago, Harvey, Illinois, and I had 8 brothers and sisters who were raggedy poor. And I was shining shoes in all the bars to make money to feed my brothers and sisters. And while I was in these bars shining shoes, Frank Sinatra was on the jukebox. And that's when I first heard him at 8 years old. And the book is about that little boy hearing Frank Sinatra on the jukebox in Harvey, Illinois, 2 years later carrying Frank Sinatra's coffin out of a church in Beverly Hills, California. So I take you on that journey and all the things that happened in between, all the fun and all the lessons I learned along the way.
So how has the comedy world changed from when you got your start?
Dramatically, because when I started out in 1975, wherever you went in America, people say, what do you do for a living? You say, I'm a stand-up comedian. The next question out of their mouth was, oh, yeah? Have you ever been on Johnny Carson? If you hadn't been on Johnny Carson in the eyes of America, you weren't a comedian. One appearance on that show, your whole life changed. 26 million people watched that show.
Oh, yeah.
One appearance, Freddie Prinze got a sitcom the next day after one appearance. I did one appearance, CBS signed me to a development deal. I was in the unemployment line one day and on my way the next. How it's changed is, in order to get on the Tonight Show, we're in show business. That's 2 words, show and business. So you looked and said, gee, how can I get on the Tonight Show? You had the right material that could make Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, and the kids laugh. You had the right material that was clean. There was no cable in those days. Today, there's a women comedian working so filthy Red Fox would run out of the room. But it's a different era. By the way, I'm not a prude. I'm a street guy. I don't have a degree from academia. I got a doctorate from the streets. You know, I literally grew up on the streets. So I know every dirty joke there ever was. I can do a stag roast with the best of them, but it wasn't a good business venture.
You talked about how one appearance on The Tonight Show could make your career. You were on that show more than 60 times.
Yeah, 61 appearances. Over 50 on Letterman, but 61 on The Tonight Show. And you had it was a great challenge because you had to keep coming up with new material. Johnny wouldn't let you on unless you came on with new monologues, not 2 guys going to bar jokes, original monologues. So you had to write a new 6 minutes every time you went on the show. So it was a challenge. And then that was the reason Frank Sinatra wanted me to tour with him, because he would go to the same cities every year. He wanted a comedian who could keep coming up with new and original material. And he liked to listen in the wings when I was on stage, and he would compliment me on the material he liked, or if there was something I did that he didn't think was too cool. He would rarely ever tell me what to do. He just didn't want me to swear.
Yeah.
He just thought that was, you just don't use any kind of language, swear language.
I think that makes a comedian far better, and then you can watch that comic with your family as well.
I'll tell you a great story. I try out new material at the Laugh Factory all the time in Hollywood, and I was there a while back, and I was upstairs waiting to go on, and I was around the corner looking at my notes. I had some new material I wanted to do, and around the corner, I didn't know that 2 young comedians were talking, and one of them said, Tom Dreesen's here. They didn't know I was there, and so my ears perked up. The other comedian said, yeah, he's old school. And the other comedian said, he's old school. What do you mean? He said, well, he doesn't use the F word. And the other comedian said, he doesn't use the F word. What does he use for adjectives? And I stuck my head around the corner, and I said, adjectives.
Yeah.
That's what I use for adjectives.
That's awesome. Now, we got to talk about your book as well. People are loving this book.
Because there's stories in there of my life. It's a triumphant story. It's being knocked down but getting back up again, still standing,
And I love that title. So many people have been knocked down. You got to get back up. I love the title, Still Standing.
Yeah, it's a double entendre because I've been a stand-up comedian for 51 years. But also, like I say, I've been physically knocked down. It's in the book, but I got back up again. And and that's really what life is all about, isn't it? It's about trying to find those moments. There's a song called One Moment in Time. It almost brings tears to my eyes when I hear it because we hope that we could have that one moment in time, that one moment where you were all you could be. And I had so many of those moments, touring with Sammy Davis Jr., touring with Frank Sinatra, touring with Dean Martin, touring with Smokey Robinson, with Gladys Knight and the Pips, with Natalie Cole. I had so many of those moments that are in the book that I wish for everyone that they could find the work that they love, because I did.
I'm looking forward to reading the book. Tom, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much.
Again, the book is out right now, Still Standing. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Firefighters using wet agents to make water wetter. There's chemicals that reduce the surface tension of water, plain water, to make it easier to spread over objects, which makes wet water.
Okay.
Which sounds really interesting to me, but apparently firefighters do this to make sure that the water will spread further, and every little bit makes a huge difference when you're fighting a fire. So they use wetter water.
Wetter water.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought all water was wet, but...
Me too. Apparently not.
Well, it is all wet, but this is just wetter water, which is fun to say. Say it once.
Wetter water.
Say it one more time.
Wetter water.
Yeah. Isn't that fun? Thanks for listening to today's fun fact. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline France. An 82-year-old Frenchman was trying to swat a fly with an electric fly swatter.
Right.
You know what that is?
I want to say we've done these stories.
Have we talked about this too?
Yeah.
I wonder if some of this was like best of from 2020.
I don't know.
Could be. But he was trying to swat a fly. Did not realize that there was a gas canister leaking in the home. When he hit the fly, it sparked to kill the fly, but it destroyed his kitchen and blew off part of his roof.
Honestly, the fly probably lived and everything else was
The
destroyed.
fly was like, "Oh, that was a close call." That happened in France, and apparently we already talked about it. I don't remember that either. Are you serious? We've talked about everything I'm talking about today?
Well, a lot of it, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to...
I don't know. Listeners will have to chime in and
maybe
verify. Maybe I'm just having deja vu.
Deja vu. Did you just say that? Thanks for listening to a news headline from somewhere in this world.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Heidi, tell me if I've already told you this story.
Okay.
Workers at an apartment in Russia discovered the body of a man who'd been dead for years. His roommates didn't even realize he died.
He had roommates?
Yeah. It says the man lived in a communal complex with several families, and he just wasn't missed when he died 5 years ago. He was found when workers broke through the door to make some repairs. The door had been locked, and nobody had come and gone from his place. They just assumed that,
It wasn't people living in his apartment or in his same house. But
this was an apartment complex where each resident kind of had a shared space, and then they all had like their own sleeping rooms.
That's really sad
Yeah.
that nobody even
For
noticed.
5 years.
Yeah.
They had no idea he was in there. He was in there. They thought maybe he was on vacation or he had moved or whatever, but nobody had moved in. So my question is, wouldn't you think the people who own the complex would say nobody's paid rent for 5 years?
Unless it was automatically deducted from an
that could
account
be
and
too.
It was
I don't know.
automatically paid. It could have been, but you would
Bizarre.
think utilities and all
something.
that. I don't know.
Weird news
Interesting.
brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. A very bizarre story out of Germany. I didn't know if this should be weird news or moment of duh, and I put it here, but I don't know. Could have been weird news. A German baker who's been selling cookies for about 2 decades was recently ordered to stop selling this particular kind of cookie because it has sawdust in it.
Ew.
It's a very finely milled wood that has now been deemed unfit for human consumption.
Ew.
Now, this actually is not the first time this came up. Despite the producer's claim that it is a traditional vegetable product, he openly lists sawdust as an ingredient on the packaging.
Jeez.
And he already had written to the city about this back in 2004 and got no answer. Finally, 2017, a routine examination of his biscuits led to a ban, and he's been fighting it ever since. And he says the court's decision to ban the sale of the sawdust cookies is not yet legally binding. The baker still has the option of filing an appeal. So the bizarre thing is, who would want to eat cookies with sawdust in them?
Not me.
They must be good. He's been selling them. And it says sawdust right on the package. So I don't know. Maybe this should have been weird news, but it's definitely bizarre. It's today's moment of duh.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you peck out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
All right, tell me, fake news or Florida? A Lee County, Florida man attempted to rob a convenience store using nothing but his finger as a gun. Fake news or Florida?
That was Florida.
That was Florida. We talked about it.
Yes, we did.
Did he get away with it too? Maybe not. Maybe I was thinking that he actually got away with it.
He would have, but Scooby-Doo showed up.
Would have gotten away with it. It wasn't for this dog and these kids. I always thought that was fun, Scooby-Doo.
I loved Scooby-Doo.
I did too. Reggie. We do have some good news to get to. We'll try to do that here before you know it. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of giftcardchallenge.org, which is your opportunity to make good news every day. Again, giftcardchallenge.org. Here's the headline. Amsterdam neighborhood surprises an overworked postman with a $4,000 gift. How cool is that? This happened back at Christmas time. Very unexpected gift from the community. $4,197 is what it is. It says the family, and let me see here. I'm trying to read the names here. Nurola Pamak, age 44, has been working really long hours the last couple of months to make sure all these families would get their stuff on time. People ordering way more online this year than there have been in the past. So the neighbors in this particular neighborhood rounded up some extra Christmas cash for their beloved postman. They decided to give him something really, really nice. It says they gave him a package with some cookies and some chocolates and 4,197 euros.
Wow.
So they gave him a package that had some cash in there for him to be able to do something nice. He says, I'm still shocked. I had no idea what was coming. I've never received a gift like this in my whole life. More than 400 families in this community chipped in to make sure he had this. So that was really nice of them doing that. I think that's really cool. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all of the details. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.